What up?
What's up?
Hey,
What's up?
I'm John Wilkins, a retake by JW, Mr. Foundation, Nick Grifone. He's one of our trainers here. He works with the baseball players. He also played baseball.
Yeah, I played for 21 years. I went to Vernon High School, Centenary University, and then I played professionally with the Sussex Miners for 1 year.
All in New Jersey,
Yep,
northern New Jersey.
Yep.
So what we wanted to talk about is how does what I do is I do core training, stabilization, time under tension. I do all the underneath stuff from the inside out, trying to build the strength in your core, all your stabilizers, and then you can go lift with somebody else. So tell us, how long you've been with me.
So I've been with John for about, I want to say close to 8 years, 7 years, 8 years training with John, but I've been working with John for 1 year. Coming into this program, I didn't know what to expect. My sister has been here for 1 or 2 years before me. He'll tell you that story, soon. But coming into here, I thought I knew what lifting and what working out was, but I actually didn't, because there's more to it than just, you could say, the show muscles, right? There's also go muscles, which will be also talked about later. So yeah, it's been crazy, seeing everybody that's come in, just totally different ball game.
Yeah,
I will say.
So you mentioned your sister. I trained both of them. Now I train your mom, and your dad is.
He's on the fence, but he's about to make the switch.
He tried to finish her.
Yeah.
So your sister, when she came in, she was a real high level softball pitcher, and she came in and she was probably the weakest person I ever trained. We did a couple exercises with her, and and she just. But now
she's a beast.
Yeah, now she's a beast. She pitches over 70 miles an hour.
Yes.
She pitches Division I.
You blink and the ball's already right by you. It's crazy. Comparison, like, imagine 70 is almost equivalent to 100 in baseball.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, blink, ball's going up like this, ball's going down like this.
Yeah. And she's strong. She's really strong. And you're strong.
I'm strong, but for her, she's right there almost with me.
Yeah.
She could squat a lot before she had her surgery.
Yeah. So she came back from the knee surgery.
Yeah.
She had knee surgery, came back real quick.
Yeah.
To go on, and I think she was like Big East Player of the Week or something like that.
Yeah, she was.
She's at Providence.
Yeah, Big East Player of the Week a couple times.
Yeah.
I think she was back-to-back weeks, I want to say, last year before the surgery. Rocky, coming back from ACL, because, you're probably scared, you don't want to do it again.
Right.
But then once you get over that hump, it's like, okay, now it's back to the grind and stuff like that.
I remember, with football, because I played football, like in football, like you come back after the first year, that I never had knee surgery, but from what people say, people that had knee surgery, my son had knee surgery, I think he had 3 of them. When you come back after the first year, it's always that second year that you feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, because that's getting that knee strength back, because obviously once you're fully recovered, you're not just going to go pedal to the metal again.
Yeah. And the confidence, right? Like you even feel like, oh, if I plant on this foot, is it going to hold up, Yeah,
it's like the same. It's like the same with every surgery. Like, I had my shoulder surgery, and getting back to it, I was like, I'm never going to be able to throw hard again. I'm never going to.
And you didn't initially.
I didn't initially, Did I get to where I was before? I got close. I didn't get all the way.
Yeah.
But I would say it was a lot stronger
than
what it was beforehand. Proper is what I should say.
Right.
It was like coming here and doing all the exercises, like the plank walks, the jumps, and this, like it was properly built,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish it was properly built before, like when I was in middle school.
Right, right.
You know, because
So, why do you think it wasn't properly built? Like, you know what we do, and people don't know what we do. If you look at our Instagram and YouTube and all that stuff, I work on the core and the foundation of the body. Most people don't actually know what that is. My wife and I traveled this whole year with this new tool that we came up with called the Finisher, and there's about 40 more tools besides the Finisher. It's a plank bar, right? We toured all over the United States. We were in all these big time places, and about 3 people actually really knew what the core was. So for everybody that don't know what the core is actually at the base of your skull, right? It starts your spine. Your spine runs all the way down to your pelvic area, right? The cylinder around that spine, all those integral internal muscles around that spine is your core. Most people go like this is my core, you know? And then everything off of that is your stabilizers, you know? So when you first came in, and I taught you that part of it, that part of it should have been taught
before,
prior to you lifting weights. Or if you didn't know about it, incorporate it while you're doing it, you know?
Because I remember the first day when we were outside, it was during COVID, I couldn't hold the plank for more than 20 seconds.
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm like, why can't I do this even though I was so young?
Because you did ab work, right?
I did ab workout, but it wasn't. So I always thought lifting was the way to go, because I didn't know any better. That's how I was taught. Right. But nobody teaches you, okay, what's holding that up. Like if you think of a house, the foundation has to be good, otherwise it crumbles. It crumbles down. So I think not having that foundation while I was lifting, yes, it was making me stronger, but my foundation was just getting weaker and weaker because I was putting.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going? Just putting all of the muscles that were getting bigger was putting a lot of pressure on the foundation, which wasn't strong to begin with, which was making it collapse. And I think that's why my shoulder was like that, because I didn't know about coming back, engaging my core, which then engages everything else to go back, which takes pressure off of everything else, which helps.
The muscles are like pulleys, right?
Yes.
So if I'm reaching back, I'm opening.
Yeah.
Well, what's happening on the other side of that? Right? We're closing, right? And then when we throw the ball forward, it reverses. But all your power stems coming from the ground up. Right? So when we started working with that shoulder after your surgery, what was like one of your limitations, right? So one of the limitations, right, was flexibility.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So your pec, and you've been, building muscle and all of that stuff, but a lot of that traditional strength training was actually hindering you. You were building your pec too tight, too strong for you to stay mobile, in the shoulder and the elbows. So no wonder a lot of guys have, elbow problems and shoulder problems and stuff like that,
Because I see this past season, at least the beginning of the season when I was watching, there was more Tommy John surgeries than ever. Because if you think about it, a lot of guys are just using their arm. They're not engaging everything through. They might be flexible, right? But if not everything's engaged and you repeatedly do the same motion over and over again and puts pressure on the UCL and all that stuff, it's eventually gonna just snap. Right? Because a lot of guys are throwing 95, 96 consistently, but they don't have the stamina or the strength to keep that there. There's only maybe 5 guys that are know how to keep that stamina, but again, these guys are the top of the top. Even the guys that are at the top of the top don't know how to condition properly. So,
and I think one of the things with baseball is, they were totally against lifting And, you know, through the years of me, you know, seeing some of these guys like some of the big, strong, legged guys like Sammy Sosa and all that stuff, they switched and just went right into power type lifting, which is good. It's good for explosion. I mean, his legs and butt was, I mean, he has so much power, you know. But if I had that power, it's like a racing car, right? I have that big, powerful engine, and my tranny's like, and my drivetrain is not that strong. That power is going to overwhelm. You know what I mean? So that foundation of the body is so critical.
It is, and what I recommend is starting it young. So we have a bunch of kids in here now that have been with us since they were 6, or with you since they were like 6 or 7, and now they're a lot older. And seeing them perform compared to other kids that do other types of training, it's like night and day. Right? We have, just to go off of the baseball, like we have a bunch of kids that are wrestling and football, and it's night and day. Like their opponents just don't know how to react because they're either quick or they're just strong and being mobile and flexible and just being able to do things that people didn't think that were possible.
Right.
It's really mind-blowing. It really is.
And it's pretty cool too. I mean, one of the things that we do here is not just, you know, the core and stabilizers and time under tension and dorsiflexion, and, you know, we also talk about nutrition with these guys, right? And then
that's important.
Teaching a kid his winning formula. And his winning formula is, I work hard, I work efficient, and I work, you know, it's not just hard, I'm working smart. Right? So then what we try to teach him is, that's your winning formula. But sports is only one aspect of your life. Take that winning formula and apply it to all other aspects of your life. So when I talk to parents and they come in here and they start working out, they're like, hey, my kid's doing his homework now. You know, he's taking pride in his testing and stuff like that, and studying. But not only that, the dude's cleaning his room. You know, he's cleaning his room. He's like a little bit more social with his parents and not treating his brother wrong, because that's who we're being. We're making that a part of who they are. You know,
and like you were saying, a part of the winning formula, not just like nutrition and lifting, it's also mental. Right. As for me personally, coming in here, and you know, the workouts, they're pretty tough, right? Like you were saying, you take that and put that into your job. You take that, like for kids, you put it into your homework and your schooling. It's just
spiritual, right?
It totally changes your mindset. Right? Because if you're just doing the same things over and over again, you're not pushing yourself, you're not challenging yourself. How are you going to grow? Right? That's part of life. You got to grow. But if you're not going to test yourself, then what's the point?
Right. And even when you test yourself and you grow, there is some adversity. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna go through this journey without any suffering or without any, you know, thing come across your path. I mean, you can train all you want, but you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? It's like, and
it's about what you do to get yourself back up.
Right.
Like how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to get an A on that test? How bad do you want to play in college? Do you want to start in high school? Like, you got to have a goal. And once you beat that goal, don't just be, oh, I'm satisfied. You got to go get more. Right. But don't get greedy. You don't want to get greedy. You want more, but you want to do it in a positive aspect, not like, I took his job, I'm satisfied, whatever. No.
You got to excel. So it's funny too, you just said something. I met, one of the places we went to was the Spartan race, Joe DeSena. And, you know, him and I became, you know, good friends. And he's turned me on so many people that I would have never, you know, been able to meet and stuff like that. And he always says that you should always do something hard, you know, like the minimum, like once a year. And he has all those Spartan races and stuff like that. And, you know, we had teams come out, and we went out to Vernon, New Jersey, and we brought a crowd with us, and they did that Spartan race. People didn't even train for it. But the thing was, if they didn't do something hard, you don't know to push yourself. You
Mm-mm.
become complacent. You become like,
Mm-hmm.
like every day, like, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, what do? You work in corporate, and at the end of 30 years, you get your pension, and I'm gonna sit down and do nothing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I always say, you gotta, in that journey, you gotta defy the odds, and then you gotta
Mhm.
train, you gotta work,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then that's how you become the best. That's that winning formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta like apply that winning formula everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
Just because.
So we have a couple analogies.
Sorry to interrupt. Picking up toys for Tots box. Thank you.
Okay. We're talking about analogies, right? So
Yeah.
one of the analogies is, when we talk about the core,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about an apple,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions I always ask is, okay, like, what's the core of an apple,
Mm-hmm.
right? You start at the top of the apple where the stem is, and you take something and
Yeah.
you core out all the way through,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
That core that you took out represents your spine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything around that, right, is your core.
Yeah.
So when somebody goes like this to me, that's like biting the apple on the outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the
And-
show.
Yeah, that's the show.
Yeah.
And has nothing to do with that middle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I get people like kids, because we sitting here with kids, and I'm not going to tell them all the integral muscles
Yeah.
around the spine.
Yeah.
So I have to give them something that they can kind of
Yeah.
focus on and associate it with,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's one of them. The other one was foundation, right? So
Yeah.
the foundation is the core, and I always say, like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
vehicle,
Yes.
right? So if the chassis of a Suburban, you have a Subaru, right?
Yeah.
And I took that body off and I put on a Suburban,
Yeah.
right? Would it work?
No.
If you mount it the right way, it might run a little bit.
You're just gonna rugged and slow.
It's gonna be rugged and slow.
Yeah.
It's not gonna even out,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Yeah.
might have some rubbing.
Yeah.
You might have some friction,
Yeah.
So, and that's one of the other associations we do with the
Yeah.
core and the
And
foundation.
you could like put that. I'm not saying to everyone, but like you could put that to like some bodybuilders.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
They have all these big show muscles because they got to get ready for the show, but then they're all lifting just in place. They're not being mobile with their workouts like athletes should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and not a lot of people, not a lot of athletes are training that way at all. Right? So like, why would we do a squat? A squat is good. Don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but like, why wouldn't we?
Hypertrophy builds muscle.
Yeah,
right?
but why wouldn't we take the squat and do like the Frogger, the jumps?
Right.
Like squat
Oh,
jumps.
this reminds me. I did a post on Instagram,
Mhm.
and I said, if you want to have strong legs,
Mhm.
the Frogger, you should do the Frogger.
Yeah.
And one guy sent back, nah, that's not gonna work. That's not it. And he showed a video of him squatting.
Yeah.
So the kid that was in the post could actually squat the same way he can. But I guarantee the guy squatting couldn't do his Froggers.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he was functionally and strong, the wrestler that I was in the
Yeah.
video.
Yes.
But that guy was strong, but he wasn't functional.
Wasn't functional.
Right? So I look at him like, okay, wow, okay, you can pick up that big weight, but can you pick up your groceries and carry them up the stairs into your second floor apartment?
Yeah.
Right? That's where the functionality is.
Yeah.
Like, you can get that one big heave ho,
Yeah.
but then what do you do afterwards? But that's really not life,
Mm-mm.
you know?
It's working out functionally, and life should be continuous.
Right.
It is continuous.
Yeah.
Right? Because what you were just saying, like, we wouldn't just pick the groceries up and then put them back down.
Yeah.
You have to carry them through.
Right.
That's life. You got to carry through life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you work out, everything, at least for athletes, should be
And
mobile.
regular people,
And regular
right?
people. Yeah.
We put
Everybody.
we put I guess it was 80 years old. He was in a community, a community in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was 1,500 homes,
Mm-hmm.
and he was still working. This guy, he was 80 years old, and I put him on the bar because he really only cared about his golf game,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I put him on the bar and I said, "Do me a favor, I want you to hold the plank." So he held the plank for a couple seconds,
Mhm.
and then he stopped and he asked me questions. He was like, yo, why is that so much harder than my plank on my elbows?
Mhm.
Right? So when you're on your elbows, you're like this, nothing's going on here.
Mhm.
But the finisher bar, you're actually gripping the bar.
Yep.
So you added all of this in.
Mhm.
Well, your grip is totally associated with your core,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And then once he was in that plank, I said, okay, now you golf, so you move. So I want you to start plank walking.
Yeah.
I said, just go from here to here. I think it was like 2 feet.
Yeah.
And he did it, right?
Yeah.
And he went down to his knees,
Mhm.
and he looks up at me, and he's breathing hard.
Mhm.
So we hit on that anaerobic threshold,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So anaerobically, he was breathing hard. He's like, wow, because his full body did it.
Mhm.
And then he stood up. You know what he said to me? Why do I feel like I can walk better?
Mhm.
Because what happens is as you're dorsiflexing and you're pushing along,
Mhm.
right? That anterior tibialis muscle is now waking up.
Mhm.
So he's no longer shuffling his feet anymore,
Yep.
right? He's now walking.
Mhm.
And he was like, mail this to my house.
Yeah.
He bought one right on the
Just bought
spot, we
one right on
shipped
the
it to
spot.
him.
Yeah, it's like what athletes should be doing,
Yeah,
right? Not just because, especially for baseball, when are we ever gonna lay down on a bench and push?
right,
Right. The way that we should be working out is we should be moving constantly. I mean, every sport,
right,
right? Every
Right.
sport, your workout should be, you should be moving,
right,
right? You're not just gonna be static. You're not gonna
Yeah.
be static.
right,
We're not standing around. I mean, maybe for a couple pitches, but then you got to be ready to react and move,
right,
right?
Yeah.
Like soccer, you're constantly running. Football, the only time you're being still until the play is there, and then you're moving,
right. And
Right.
explosively.
explosively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. One of the things, and where we traveled this year was the Pentagon.
Mhm.
I think we did the Pentagon like 3 times. And one of the guys that came to do our, we
Mhm.
pulled him up to do our demo, he just came back from an excursion.
Mhm.
He was away for, I forget how long he was gone, but he had come back and he was rested up and he was like, hey, I'd like to try this. And I said, do you work out?
Mhm.
Dumb question.
Yeah.
But I said, do you work out? He goes, yeah, because I want him to overexcite.
You want the ego to come
I
out.
want the ego to come out. So I set up, I think it was 15 feet. And I said, and I told him the high plank,
Mhm.
I told him the low plank, and I told him the plank jump.
Mhm.
I said, because he looked so fit and he
Yeah.
just came back, I figured, this dude might finish this.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, you're gonna do 15 feet and you can do a high plank, a low plank, so a high plank forward
Yeah.
and backwards,
Mhm.
a low plank forward and backwards, a plank jump forward and
Yeah.
backwards.
So
And
one
you
of
have
each.
3 of those,
Yeah.
right? Well, he finished the high, down and back. He didn't finish the low going there. So it took him so long to finish the low, and then he had to do the jumps.
Mhm.
So I completely eliminated the other 2 sets.
Yeah.
Because it took him 30 minutes to finish that.
Yeah.
And he was like, what's wrong with me? And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, you don't train this way, right?
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're in a plank position.
Yeah.
We're isometrically contracting every muscle,
Mhm.
and then now we're moving,
Yeah.
right? So in that movement, we're not used to the time under
Mm-mm.
tension.
Can you
Right,
can you
because we're
explain
doing
time
repetitions.
under tension?
Yeah, so time under tension is, have tension,
Mhm.
my body contracts,
Mhm.
right? Or your arms, whatever. For us, it's our full body contracting
Yeah.
for a certain time.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't do things in repetition, we do them for length or time,
Mhm.
right? So I don't know how long my play is gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't know how long my wrestling match is gonna be. I don't know how long those things are.
Yeah.
But all I can do is train hard enough for the worst,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm good.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So back to this guy. So after he finished, he's laying on the floor and he wants to know what's going on. Like, why is this happening? Like, I don't understand,
Mhm.
So I explained it all to him: time under tension, grip strength, dorsiflexion, functional training rather than repetitions and things like that. And he also got a bar,
Mhm.
So he got the bar because not that he wasn't gonna do all his other
Mhm.
stuff, he was gonna add this to it.
Mhm.
So he said he was gonna do like 5 minutes, and then he was gonna do the rest of this workout.
Mhm.
So I told him, do 5 minutes, do the rest of your workout. Next time, do a lot of your workout, maybe halfway through, then do it.
Mhm.
And then sometimes do it at the end of your workout.
Mhm.
So you're conditioning yourself on all 3 phases.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what we were, you know, pretty incredible too.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
And then we took it everywhere.
Yep.
You know, we went to American Top Team, we went to the UFC headquarters, we went to the Pentagon, we went to Joint Base Andrews, TARC 1, TARC 2.
Yep.
We went to Olympic Training Center, we went to Switzerland, the bar is in Spain, it's in Africa, it's in Dubai, it's in Canada.
Mhm.
We just did a lot of work to get it out there, you
And
know?
it's only been around for about a year.
Yeah. 1 year, we got a patent on it, so
Yeah.
that was cool.
Mhm.
So, anyway, so today we wanted to really get across what
Yeah.
the core is.
Mhm.
I think, you know, if anybody wants to know what the core is, they can DM us. Our Instagram is Retail by JW.
Mhm.
YouTube is, I believe it's CoreCoach,
Mhm.
Mr. Foundation. And we have a couple instructional videos and stuff like that, and just, you know, see what we do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to have you on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.
God bless.
Yes, sir.
All righty.